Listen closely. In the blink of an eye, a person's true character is quietly revealed. Many spend years trying to understand others, yet the answers are often hidden in the smallest moments. Today, you will discover a secret that most people overlook, a way to see the real nature of anyone immediately without relying on words or appearances. From the halls of ancient Shaolin wisdom to the quiet practices of mindful masters, there is a pattern, a subtle code embedded in how humans act when no one is watching. The first thing to notice is not what they say, but how they move through the world, their energy, their calm, their restraint. The second is hidden in their reactions, especially in unexpected or challenging situations. These two signs, observed with patience and awareness, reveal more than years of conversation ever could. Few realize that moments of silence, gestures of kindness, and the way someone handles pressure are mirrors reflecting their inner discipline or lack of it. Shaolin teachings show that mastery begins within, and those who have cultivated it will show it in every micro-action. You will learn to recognize these subtle truths, to see beyond charm, appearances, and pretense. By the end of this video, you will gain the insight to perceive authenticity instantly, and more importantly, you will understand why most people never notice it. This is knowledge that changes perception and sharpens awareness, allowing you to navigate relationships and life with clarity. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, a space where ancient wisdom meets modern life. Subscribe now and join the journey of self-mastery, awareness, and the quiet uncovering of truth hidden in plain sight. Stay with me until the end, and the world around you will begin to reveal its secrets. Time speaks louder than words. In every passing second, a person's true nature quietly unfolds. Shaolin masters teach that mastery of self cannot exist without mastery of time. It is in how someone honors the flow of their hours, the patience they carry in moments of waiting, and the presence they bring to each interaction that their character becomes visible. Notice the one who arrives late without care, who rushes through conversation or interrupts the natural rhythm of a meeting. Their hurried steps, their distracted glances, they reveal a mind restless, ungrounded, and focused on self rather than the world around them. In contrast, observe the person who moves with deliberate attention, who treats every minute as sacred. Their patience is not forced. It is a reflection of inner discipline. Every small delay they endure, every moment they dedicate fully to listening, gestures quietly toward a steady heart. There is a story from the Shaolin temple. A young monk once grew frustrated when his master did not answer immediately. Days passed, yet the master remained silent, attending first to simple necessary tasks before speaking. The young monk's impatience revealed not only his eagerness, but also his lack of respect for natural order. Time, the master silently taught, is not a commodity to be seized, but a path to understanding oneself and others. When you watch how a person navigates their hours, the moments they honor and the ones they waste, you see what they truly value. Punctuality, attention, and mindful presence are not just manners, they are reflections of the soul's rhythm. The way someone treats time shows whether they are a person of integrity or someone still adrift in the currents of distraction and desire. This awareness, quiet yet profound, allows you to read the hidden patterns that define character without uttering a single word. Even in silence, energy speaks. In the quiet exchanges of life, the brief nod, the subtle tone of voice, the smallest gesture, truth moves like a current beneath the surface. Shaolin teachings have long held that qi, the internal energy flowing through every being, reflects the state of the mind and the purity of intent. It cannot be hidden, for the body and spirit reveal themselves in every moment, no matter how small. Observe the person who speaks softly, yet with presence. Their movements are measured, deliberate, and flowing, as if each action arises naturally from a calm center. There is a steadiness to their energy that does not demand attention but quietly commands respect, even in minor interactions. Handing an object, listening briefly, responding to a simple question, this energy radiates. It speaks of discipline cultivated over years, of a mind tempered by reflection, and of a heart aligned with intention rather than impulse. Now watch another, whose energy is scattered, abrupt, or tense. Even without harsh words, the unrest in their movements betrays impatience, insecurity, or inner conflict. A hurried gesture, a clipped response, and eyes that flicker restlessly, these small details carry the weight of imbalance. Shaolin philosophy teaches that the harmony of internal energy cannot be faked. Chaos in subtle moments reflects turbulence within the spirit. True character often hides behind appearances, but energy never lies. In every fleeting interaction, in every subtle movement, the essence of a person is revealed. Those who have cultivated calm, control, and awareness display integrity naturally. Those still swayed by untrained emotions cannot conceal the restlessness within. By learning to sense this current, one can read beyond words and actions, discerning the depth of mastery or the lack thereof in every soul encountered. Life often reveals itself in moments that catch us unprepared. It is not in the calm and routine that true character emerges, but in the sudden twists, the small crises that demand a response. Shaolin masters have long observed that the measure of a person is found in how they meet the unexpected, how the mind, body, and spirit respond when equilibrium is threatened. Consider a student of the temple, tasked with a difficult exercise. At first, failure brings frustration, tension rising like storm clouds. Yet, with each attempt, the student learns to breathe, to center, to observe rather than react impulsively. The sudden challenge becomes a mirror, revealing patience, humility, and the quiet strength of persistence. Those who falter easily, who lash out or withdraw in fear, display the turbulence that has long gone unchecked within. Even in the smallest disruptions, an unexpected delay, a misstep in conversation, a minor irritation, character is revealed. The Shaolin principle of equanimity teaches that the mind should remain steady, rooted in awareness, like a tree that bends without breaking in the wind. Adaptability is not compromise, it is the skill of responding with clarity rather than reaction, of choosing alignment over impulse. Watch how a person navigates these moments. Do they carry themselves with calm determination, adjusting seamlessly, or do they crumble under pressure, revealing impatience or pride? Personal mastery is not shown in perfection, but in the ability to maintain presence and dignity when chaos arises. Every small challenge offers insight, the quiet resilience of one who has trained the mind and heart, the impulsive unrest of one who has yet to find harmony. By observing reactions to the unexpected, the subtle truths of character unfold, teaching that mastery is lived, not spoken, and that strength is measured by composure as much as by action. The art of listening is a doorway to truth. In every conversation, the depth of attention reveals more than words ever could. Shaolin masters have long taught that true listening is a discipline, a practice of presence and restraint. To listen fully, one must quiet the mind, suspend judgment, and allow the other person's energy to unfold without interference. Notice the one who nods while truly hearing, whose eyes remain steady, whose silence holds space for understanding. Even in brief interactions, their awareness becomes evident. They do not rush to respond, nor do they fill the silence with their own voice. Instead, they receive each word, each pause, with equanimity and respect. This mindful attention reflects inner mastery, a mind disciplined to remain present, a heart trained to honor others, and a spirit attuned to subtle currents of truth. Contrast this with those whose listening is shallow, distracted, or performative. Fingers tap, eyes wander, thoughts drift elsewhere. Their energy is divided, their presence absent. Shaolin philosophy teaches that when the mind is restless, the soul cannot be fully seen. Shallow listening signals self-absorption, a heart preoccupied with projection rather than reception. Even politeness cannot conceal the inner turbulence of distraction. There is a story of a young disciple, eager to speak and eager to learn, who once interrupted the master repeatedly during meditation. The master remained silent, allowing the student's impatience to reveal itself. Only when the student learned to quiet the mind and truly listen did understanding begin to emerge. Listening, in its deepest sense, is not passive. It is a reflection of discipline, patience, and authenticity. Observing how someone listens, even in small everyday moments, offers insight into their character. Presence, not pretense, shines through, showing who holds mastery over their mind and who has yet to cultivate the art of true attention. Gratitude is a quiet strength, often unnoticed, yet it carries the weight of true character. In the Shaolin tradition, monks cultivate gratitude each day, not as a mere ritual, but as a practice to purify the ego and align the heart with the natural order. Every small act of kindness, every gesture of support, becomes an opportunity to recognize the interconnectedness of life and to humble the self before it. Observe how a person responds to help, no matter how small. Do they acknowledge it with sincerity, or do they take it for granted? Do they offer thanks without expectation, or do they measure generosity as a transaction? In these subtle moments, the depth of humility emerges. A bowed head, a quiet word of appreciation, a mindful nod. These are reflections of a spirit that has cultivated awareness and respect for others. There's an old story from the Shaolin temples. A young disciple, gifted with great skill, once refused to bow to a humble gardener who had quietly tended the temple grounds for decades. The master watched in silence, allowing the student to reveal his pride. It was only after witnessing the gardener's unwavering dedication and quiet humility that the disciple understood the meaning of gratitude. True mastery is not measured in skill alone, but in the capacity to recognize the value of others without arrogance. Gratitude and humility are rarely loud. They do not seek recognition. They manifest in small acknowledgments, in steady presence, in the ease of giving respect where it is due. Watching how a person expresses these qualities, how naturally they arise, and how genuinely they are offered, reveals the depth of their inner discipline. Those who embody gratitude and humility carry a quiet authority, a moral resonance that speaks louder than words or accomplishments. Through this lens, one can see the essence of virtue quietly shining, even in the simplest exchanges. The body is a mirror of the mind, revealing truths often hidden behind words. Shaolin masters have long taught that physicality and spirit are inseparable. The way one carries the body reflects the state of the inner self. Each stance, each gesture carries information about confidence, discipline, and balance, or the lack of it. Observe someone as they move through a room. A calm, grounded posture speaks of steadiness and clarity. Shoulders relaxed, spine aligned, gaze steady. These small details reflect the mind at ease, disciplined, and in control. There's no need for boastful display or exaggerated gestures. True presence does not demand attention. It draws respect naturally. This is the hallmark of inner mastery, a person whose body reflects the harmony they have cultivated within. Contrast this with those whose movements betray tension or restlessness. Fidgeting hands, shifting weight, slouched shoulders, or hurried steps often hint at insecurity, impatience, or hidden motives. The body cannot lie. Even when words are carefully chosen, physical cues reveal what the mind and heart cannot conceal. Shaolin teachings emphasize that cultivating the body is not merely for strength or flexibility. It is a path to align spirit and mind, to communicate integrity through action without speaking. There is a story of a young student who, despite great skill with weapons, carried himself with arrogance, chest thrust forward and steps heavy. Observers admired his technique, but sensed unease in his presence. Over time, the master taught him to move with humility, to let posture flow naturally from the center, to root energy in calm balance rather than display. Only then did true respect follow, not for skill alone, but for the harmony that radiated from his being. Watching the body, the subtle shifts in stance, and the natural rhythm of movement reveals what words cannot. Through posture, one can sense patience, confidence, and integrity, or unrest, insecurity, and discord, allowing insight into the true nature beneath the surface. Consistency is the quiet measure of truth. Shaolin masters have long taught that discipline is the outward reflection of inner harmony, and true character reveals itself not in isolated moments, but across time. A person may speak with charm or act with grace briefly, but the depth of their being is shown in whether these words and actions align repeatedly without pretense. Notice those whose intentions remain steady, who honor their promises even in small matters. They do not shift with convenience, nor alter behavior to impress. Their consistency is not rigid or mechanical. It flows naturally from a disciplined mind and a centered spirit. Shaolin philosophy emphasizes that mastery begins within, and only a mind cultivated through awareness and patience can manifest harmony outwardly in every interaction. Contrast this with the performative. Some display virtue when observed, or speak of ideals they rarely embody. Over time, contradictions emerge, actions that betray words, promises that fade under pressure, gestures of kindness that vanish when unseen. Such inconsistency, though subtle at first, betrays the restlessness of the mind and the lack of inner grounding. There is an old story from the monastery. A young disciple boasted of loyalty and discipline, yet faltered when tested in simple daily duties. The master observed quietly, allowing the truth to emerge. It was not in grand demonstrations, but in repeated small actions over weeks that the disciple's character was revealed. Only when alignment became habitual did respect follow, earned not through words but through lived consistency. Observe the people around you in brief encounters, in small obligations, in fleeting interactions. Do their actions match their words across time? Those who maintain integrity quietly, steadily, reveal a soul cultivated through discipline and awareness. Consistency is not a performance. It is the echo of inner mastery resonating outward, a signal of reliability, patience, and authenticity that cannot be feigned. Words are not mere sounds. They are the extension of thought, the mirror of the mind, and the reflection of the spirit. In Shaolin practice, mindful speech is considered a form of discipline, a subtle expression of inner mastery. Each word carries weight, and the way it is chosen reveals the clarity, balance, and intention of the speaker. Observe those who speak with care. Their words are measured, neither hasty nor forced, carrying truth without embellishment. They avoid gossip, refrain from deceit, and do not offer empty praise to manipulate or impress. Each sentence flows naturally, arising from a mind that has learned to pause before reacting, to weigh the impact of expression, and to honor the moment with presence. This discipline is not rigid. It is a reflection of a steady heart and a focused mind. Contrast this with speech that betrays unrest. Quick, careless words, exaggeration, or manipulation. Even subtle hints of dishonesty or vanity reveal a mind swayed by ego rather than centered in awareness. Shaolin philosophy teaches that the voice cannot hide what the spirit carries. A turbulent or fragmented mind seeps through even in polite conversation. There is a story of a young monk who, though skilled in technique and meditation, often spoke impulsively, sharing harsh criticism or idle talk. The master observed and did not intervene immediately, allowing the monk to see the effects of his words on others. Over time, as the student cultivated awareness and restraint, his speech became calm, precise, and impactful. His voice no longer scattered energy, but transmitted harmony, patience, and insight. By observing how someone speaks in ordinary moments, one can sense the depth of their inner discipline. Calm, intentional language reflects more than intelligence. It reflects mastery over thought, emotion, and presence. True character flows through words like water from a mountain spring, clear, steady, and sustaining, revealing integrity without demand or declaration. Silence is not emptiness, it is a mirror of the mind. Shaolin meditation teaches that true power and clarity emerge in stillness, when the noise of the world fades and the self is confronted without distraction. In these quiet moments, the essence of character is revealed. Observe how a person carries themselves in silence. Do they settle naturally at ease with the absence of sound, the lack of external stimulation? Or do they fidget, fill the space with words, or seek approval through subtle gestures? Comfort in stillness reflects self-awareness, inner confidence, and the quiet mastery of mind and heart. It is a sign of someone who does not rely on applause, recognition, or constant interaction to validate their presence. There is an old teaching from the Shaolin temple. A master would sit in complete silence among his disciples, allowing them to work, meditate, or simply breathe. One young student grew restless, shifting constantly. speaking unnecessarily, seeking acknowledgement for even minor accomplishments. Another sat calmly, observing the stillness without agitation, their breath steady, presence unwavering. The master later explained that the student at ease in silence had cultivated awareness. Their confidence was not performed, but earned through discipline and reflection. Even in ordinary life, moments of quiet reveal these truths. A person who can sit through a brief pause in conversation without discomfort shows resilience and focus. Their energy is contained, steady, and unobtrusive, indicating mastery over thought and impulse. Those who cannot bear silence often reveal dependency on the external, a mind unsettled, and a heart seeking constant affirmation. Presence in silence is subtle yet powerful. It speaks without sound, teaching that strength lies not in noise or display, but in the stillness that holds awareness, patience, and quiet certainty. Observing this allows insight into the depth of a person's character, often before a single word is spoken. True character is often hidden in plain sight, revealed not in moments of acclaim, but in how one treats those who cannot return favor or influence status. Shaolin philosophy teaches that compassion and fairness are the foundations of virtue. Strength without humility is hollow, and wisdom without empathy is incomplete. The soul is measured in the quiet acts of kindness offered without expectation, in the attention given to those whose presence may seem insignificant to others. Observe the way a person interacts with those less powerful, the humble or the unseen. Do they offer respect, patience, and understanding, or do they dismiss, belittle, or ignore? True mastery is reflected in humility, not performance. A leader who corrects or guides gently, a person who acknowledges effort without needing recognition, these are the marks of a heart aligned with discipline and awareness. Shaolin teaching holds that the same energy flows through both mind and action. How one wields authority speaks as loudly as how one offers care. There is a story of a senior monk who noticed a young disciple often spoke sharply to the temple's kitchen staff, who labored quietly and rarely received attention. The master remained observant, allowing the disciple's arrogance to reveal itself. Only after witnessing the disciple's change, gentle words, quiet assistance, a respectful nod, did the master confirm that humility and understanding had taken root. The disciple's growth was not measured by skill or accolades, but by compassion extended without expectation. Kindness to the powerless is not weakness, it is strength refined through discipline and self-mastery. Observing these subtle interactions reveals the integrity of the heart, the depth of patience, and the alignment of mind and spirit. True character is illuminated in these quiet, unobserved moments, where ego recedes and the purity of intent shines clearly. True character is rarely hidden. It shows itself in the smallest moments through energy, reactions, words, and presence. By observing quietly, without judgment, we can see the depth of a person's nature, their mastery, or the areas where growth is still needed. Shaolin wisdom and mindfulness remind us that the ability to read others begins with mastery of ourselves. Presence, patience, and awareness allow us to perceive what is real beneath appearances. Take these lessons into your daily life. Notice the subtle gestures, the calm or restless energy, the way others listen, and how they treat both silence and those around them. Let observation be an act of understanding, not criticism. True insight comes not from reacting, but from watching with quiet attention, cultivating discernment, and aligning your own mind and heart with discipline and clarity. As you practice this mindful awareness, your interactions will deepen, your judgment will become clearer, and your own character will shine more brightly. Embrace the quiet power of observation and let it guide your path toward greater wisdom and compassion. If this message resonates, join our journey here at Shaolin Soulfire. Like, subscribe, and continue exploring the ancient teachings that illuminate both the world and the heart. May your mind remain calm, your presence steady, and your understanding deep.